Once upon a time, during the Civil War, there was a young boy named James. He lived on a small farm in the southern part of the country. James's family owned a few slaves who worked on their farm. James didn't think much about it because it was something that he grew up with, and he didn't understand why it was wrong. James had a friend named Samuel who lived nearby. Samuel's family had a different perspective. They believed that owning slaves was unjust and that all people should be treated equally. Samuel often talked to James about how he felt, and James would just shrug it off, not wanting to think about it. As the war raged on, James found himself joining the Confederate Army, just like many other young men from his town. He fought in battles and saw the horrors of war up close. He began to question why people were fighting and what they were fighting for. During a quiet moment in the camp, James started talking to an older soldier named Thomas. Thomas had seen a lot in his years, and he talked to James about the reasons behind the war. He explained that it was about more than just states' rights. It was about the fundamental idea that all people should be free and treated fairly. James listened carefully, his perspective slowly shifting as he realized that maybe his family's way of life wasn't right. One day, as James and his fellow soldiers were resting, he found a letter from Samuel. In the letter, Samuel wrote about how he believed that everyone should have the same rights and opportunities, regardless of their skin color. Samuel also wrote about how he hoped that one day, James would understand why owning slaves was wrong. As the war went on, James found himself thinking more and more about what Samuel and Thomas had said. He saw the pain and suffering caused by slavery, not just for the people who were enslaved, but for the entire country. He saw families torn apart, and he realized that the war was tearing the nation apart too. One night, as James lay in his tent, wounded and tired, he thought about everything he had seen and learned. He thought about Samuel's words in the letter he had received. With a heavy heart, he realized that he had been wrong all along. He had been blind to the suffering of others, and he had supported something fundamentally unjust. In his last moments as he lay on the battlefield, James whispered to his fellow soldiers about his change of heart. He spoke about the importance of equality and how he wished he had understood it sooner. He asked them to carry his message of change and to fight for a better world where everyone could live in freedom and peace. And so, James passed away, his heart heavy with regret for his past beliefs. His story became a lesson for those who heard it, a reminder that it's never too late to change and to fight for what's right. The war eventually ended, and the nation began the slow process of healing and rebuilding, with James's words echoing in the hearts of those who carried his message forward.